For actors who were cast as the ugly or fat character, were the casting crew clear as to why you were selected? Were you told this is how your character will be portrayed? Remember the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC commercials? Remember when Microsoft came out with their response commercial, and a guy who looked like John Hodgman, Apple's PC character, walked on screen and said I'm a PC, and I've been turned into a stereotype? Well, that's me. When I was selected for the role, they didn't tell me why I was selected or what I would be doing. They just brought me in and started dressing me up like Hodgman's character. The wardrobe person then walked me out to the director, who had a crew of like 15 people around him. They all stopped and looked me over like a piece of meat for like 30 seconds. It was dead silent. The director then said, "My god, it looks just like him." I replied, "I'm not sure if I should be honored or insulted. Don't get me wrong, John Hodgman isn't ugly, but he's no Brad Pitt." Well, I guess I'm not either. I am not Brad Pitt. AMA. I act in LA, and about 2 or 3 years ago, I was called by a casting director for the Disney show Jessie. They asked me if I was still 6 feet 4 inches 275. Of course I'm still 6 feet 4 inches. What a stupid question. I told her yes, and she told me about the role. She said that they would make fun of my size, saying the line is he's got more square footage than a Manhattan apartment, and asked if I was okay with that. I mean, I'm not a fat guy by any means. I'm football player big, but I didn't really care. I appreciated them being upfront about it, though. Interestingly enough, after the first take, a producer came up and introduced herself and told me, "You're too skinny for this part." Never heard that said in my life. But, she said, "Don't worry, go right over there and wardrobe will fatten you up." Then 3 women stuffed towels in my shirt until I was suitably fat enough for them. My friends entered their baby, 1 year old, into one of those competitions where the winners go into a TV commercial. They were so excited when their kid was one of the 10 to make it into the commercial. They were telling everyone on Facebook etc etc. Then when they saw the final version of the commercial, they realized that their baby was the not so cute character who wore the leading brand diapers. They made him look unclean and made the lighting all dark and kinda brownish. It was hilarious. For us. I am a writer and actor in Los Angeles. My fat and ugly friends, with talent, are by far the most successful of all of us. From regular commercial work, to theatrical, drama comedy, work, to modeling. It pays to be unique in a city full of pretty white people trying to get the same job. Now ask them if they get any decent hero villain roles that aren't a sidekick or a total joke. It's a different story. Somewhat related, in Home Alone when Macaulay Culkin makes fun of his brother's girlfriend. "Buzz, your girlfriend, woof." The picture shown was a chubby boy in a wig, because director Chris Columbus didn't want to make fun of a young girl. I went for casting as a face character for Walt Disney World. I was told I would make an excellent ugly stepsister due to my height, 5 feet 9, and my abnormal teeth. They say they want the villains to be tall so they loom over the children. It gives a more menacing feel if you look down at them. Disney casting starts with your smile, so they make it extremely clear. And at 5 feet 9 inches you are almost definitely not going to be a heroine. Actually, I don't even know if they have a leading female role that tall. I think the cutoff for all the princesses is 5 feet 8 inches. Casting director. Well, you said you wanted gritty. In other words, ugly. Helen Morehouse. I wanted Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island ugly, not Cornelius on the Planet of Apes ugly. TV ugly, not ugly. Poor Mo. If you get your feelings hurt, acting is not the job for you. Serious actors take whatever part they can get because there's 1,000 other applicants who will take the part. Exactly. Sure, you may get cast as the ugly person, but the important thing is, you were cast. Not all that related, but in the 6th grade we had to do Greek plays, and our class was doing the Apple of Discord. We had acting auditions and the person who got the most votes got to choose their character, the second most votes chose next, and so on. I, by some miracle, got first place. At recess I talked to my teacher and she mentioned that the best part was definitely Eris. I didn't know crap about Greek myths. So we get back into class and she started writing names on the board. She asked what part I wanted and I, of course, replied Eris. Everyone started laughing and then I found out why. Ares is the douchebag who started the whole fight between the goddesses. Frick her, I had to be the fat goddess of strife and everyone made fun of me for weeks. Frick you Mrs. Nichols. I was on a reality show called Guntucky several years ago. I was much heavier back then and kind of awkward, mostly because I had just gotten divorced. They wrote me as a clumsy, sort of nerdy dude who went to gun ranges to pick up women. Another actress on the show was the daughter of the owner of the gun range, an attractive mid-20s chick I had never met. They had me hit on her and try to score a date, really awkwardly. I pulled it off pretty well because I was still distraught about the divorce and because I was pretty awkward I roll anyway. The director was pleased with my performance because I didn't question what they wanted me to do. Too many people get in front of the camera and want to be badasses. They're scared of looking stupid. But it's TV, not real life. I had a lot of fun, though. The TV guys were from New York and had no experience with firearms. Me and my dad got to train them a bit so they'd know how to write the show better. My dad was cast as a member of a secret gun club that consisted of a bunch of old guys who had never met IRL, with me standing guard in the shadows as something of an apprentice. Unfortunately, the scene with me threatening a trespasser with my empty AK-47 didn't make the show due to time constraints. But it's a nice experience I got to share with my dad. I wondered this while watching Game of Thrones. How did they cast the captain's daughter that Theon sleeps with in season 2? We need a thin girl with horrible teeth and long weird tube tea. Inquire within or fat Volder in season 4? We need a profoundly overweight and unattractive woman with stringy hair that can't get off a horse by herself. Apply now. I represent actors and musicians. They literally put it in the character description, i.e. overweight, pudgy, could lose a few etc. A lot of times they will refer to a character as, well, charactery, and sometimes they'll flat out say unattractive. My agent used to send me the breakdowns for LA, and they're basically all either fat ugly person or ripped model look. It's fairly depressing. They have to be blunt about it, though, otherwise they'll get 80,000 submissions for people not remotely what they're looking for. I was cast as an extra in the fat girl sorority on the show Greek. Since I was an extra, all I was told beforehand was the name of the show, where and when to show up, and the fact that clothing would be provided. It was not until I got there, got my clothes on, and saw all the other girls with matching outfits that I realized we were the unwanted dorks of the campus. It kinda sucked, but I took it in stride as a commentary on LA beauty standards, as I was a size 14 at the time. Crap, that's a bit rough. I would have been upset. I'm glad you took it in stride. I sure you did awesome. Well, I'm currently in rehearsal for my school's production of The Addams Family. I'm probably the biggest guy that tried out for the show, so that probably has something to do with being cast as Uncle Fester. At first I was a little hurt, as that's the one character I marked as not wanting. After speaking with the director, though, I figured that I'm the only person that could really pull off the part. I guess it's kinda funny how, as the big guy, I'm the only one that fit. But Uncle Fester is awesome. Character actors know they are character actors. It's acting. I've played the ugly fat girl and the pretty girl. Playing the ugly person is fun, and it's not a big deal to professionals. Vaguely related, I was cast as Gregory in Gregory's Girl because I was a pretty scrawny and goofy teenager. The upside was that I got to snog a girl I really fancied on stage for several nights, including in front of her slightly douchy boyfriend on Valentine's Day. A year or two later I drifted into my goth phase and so was cast as Dracula in a musical, so I definitely got cast for certain roles. That said, I was also cast in a play about a metal band that formed a boy band. Great times. Including in front of her slightly douchy boyfriend on Valentine's Day. Yikes. I'm not an actor, but I've read scripts that have characters called something like large man written in. You show up to set and oh look, a large man. They're pretty obvious. No point in covering it up, you'll always find someone. There's one scary dude I've seen on a couple shoots. Comes in, does his scary thing, gets $$$$$$$$$$$$. Saw a casting call once for someone to be a fat ankle stand-in. They just needed someone with fat ankles to stick their fat ankles in the air instead of the actress with thin ankles whose character was pregnant. They'll have found someone. Paid like £200. I am not a professional actor, but I sometimes work at a few community theaters outside of my day job. I am a character actor. Lead actors usually have this vibe. Not prima donna-ish, just they realize that everyone is watching them, that frankly I don't. I have not been cast as a lead, but I think I am good at what I do. I have played the stupid friend or the ugly friend or the nerdy friend a lot though. It's fun. And it's all about acting. I am not an ugly person, but I can act ugly. I didn't get the role, but I was asked to audition for the role of Fat as Farhad in the movie Focus starring Will Smith. I have no idea how they found me though. I have no agent. I had never auditioned for a film role. I was just so fat that they contacted me out of the blue. I guess somebody must have seen some of my music videos in the casting department. I don't know though. I guess I'd come up at the top of a Google search for £500 funny guy. I want to be a fly on the wall when Hodder was casted in Game of Thrones. I imagined the actor that plays the character spending years in fine arts schools, acting classes, reciting Shakespeare. Then he arrives for his big break. The callback that he had worked so hard for. Maybe he even arrived in a suit complete with a top hat. Then the casting crew starts to explain the role to him, and his only response is, "Hodder casting director, you're hired." I read, "I want to be a fly on the wall when Hodder," and the rest played out in my mind exactly how you wrote it. Recently got a part where I am a Spanish hag of fatness. I am neither fat nor Spanish, and no, apparently I'm not going to be wearing a fat suit. I am an abnormally tall girl, 6 feet 2 inches. In school plays I was usually cast as males. I was just happy to have a part. Later I got into children's theater and played wicked witches and ugly stepsisters. It was fun as heck. In Into the Woods they cast me as one of Cinderella's stepsisters. My counterpart was quite short and a bit chubby. We looked pretty dang comical standing together. Neither of us were ugly, but the director sure played up our unique features and the costumer put us in hideous dresses. It takes a lot of objectivity to play character parts. You have to accept your body and be able to picture it in the big picture of the play. You don't get to be insecure. If you are an actor, the goal is to get cast, not to be pretty. And despite my track record, I am actually a dang good looking gal. It's just impossible to find enough tall male actors to pair me with, so I get the fun parts instead. Not an actor, but I work in the film industry in post-production, editing, so we make the credits. We have been forced to put titles such as ugly, fat guy as a character credit for an actor or background talent. It's awful and humiliating, so we try to minimize this, but a lot of times network rules trump decency. I auditioned for an IKEA commercial where I was supposed to sing Hello by Lionel Richie. When I went in and did my thing, they said unfortunately I wasn't fat enough and they were looking for somebody who was bigger. A couple of months later I'm watching TV and I see people singing Hello for an IKEA commercial. I get interested to see how fat this guy is going to be that plays my role. Out walks the skinniest little ginger I have ever seen. Frick. I knew a girl who auditioned to become a Disneyland cast member because she had always wanted to be a princess. After a rigorous dance and singing audition process, she was cast as Stitch because she was the perfect height. Or they could do it like Saved by the Bell, and when they need an ugly nerd, just out glasses and pigtails on Tori Spelling. It's the Clark Kent effect. My actor friend from middle school told me his manager had a role that was perfect for me when we were in about 7th grade. Turns out it was for an ABC Family original series about a fat camp. I auditioned still, but I was pissed off at him for a while. I am not the fat ugly actor you're asking about, but I am an actor and have worked in some TV and film. Each actor has a type. Basically they know what types of roles they submit for, or their agent knows what roles and breakdowns to submit them for. You own it and work with what you're given. Not everyone is the beautiful leading actor you see at the movies. There are plenty of actors who make a living being the character, ugly, fat person, and you may never even know their name. I can only answer hypothetically, but I'm fat and I know it. If I was told I was playing someone fat, or that I was gonna be insulted, I wouldn't care. I've been called names my whole life. Being insulted in a fake situation is nothing. I wouldn't do major roles, though. Side characters are quickly forgotten by the audience once the joke is over. Main characters are remembered and laughed at over and over. That's my 2 cents. I was cast as a mouse once. I'm a 5 feet 9 inches female. Perhaps it was supposed to be ironic. I was not really amused, though. My friend answered a casting call to be an extra, and when she showed up they told her, "Oh good, you are totally average looking." They didn't want anybody distracting or beautiful in the background of the scene to take attention away from the main actress. I've always wanted to see the casting call for Married with Children. Every episode they have multiple morbidly obese women embarrassing themselves and getting made fun of repeatedly. I can't think of any show that was a downright mean-spirited about it as Married with Children. I remember seeing an interview with actress comedian Monique once. Someone asked her if she was worried about her health and if she had tried to lose weight. I don't remember her exact response, but she said something like, "This roll of fat right here, this is my car payment. This one is my mortgage. If I lose these, I won't be making any money." Went to California recently. I realized that everybody out there thinks they are an actor and important. Dude flipping burgers thinks he is. Cop patrolling the streets thinks he is. Every waitress thinks they are. It's literally like 75% of people believe they're in La La Land. Can confirm. Buddy just moved to LA and now thinks he's Derek Zoolander. Here is a clause from a recent contract we just signed with NBC. The footage and materials, the program, and the advertisements may be exploited throughout the universe at any time, in perpetuity, in any and all media, now known and hereafter devised, without any monetary compensation to me whatsoever. The rights granted herein shall also include the right to edit, delete, dub and fictionalize the footage and materials, the program, and the advertisements as producer sees fit in producer's sole discretion. They straight up told us they can do as they see fit, and this I understand and agree that the nature of the program is such that, for dramatic effect or other creative purposes, other than with respect to producer's obligations in this agreement, producer and network may make certain misrepresentations to me and others prior to and during the course of my participation hereunder, including prior to my signing of this agreement, which misrepresentations may relate to any and all topics of every kind and nature whatsoever, including without limitation any potential investment. I consent and agree to, and assume all risks of, the foregoing acts and omissions regardless of whether they may infringe my rights or give rise to any claim in the absence of my express consent and agreement. My brother wanted to be in an ad shooting downtown. They were requesting any type of everyday people to appear in the final ad and paid $100 DLS and a free meal for 2 hours of your time. My parents and my younger brother tagged along just for fun with no intention to appear in the ad, just hoping that they might see at least a local celebrity. When they arrived to the shooting place, the director of the ad tries to convince my parents to appear in the commercial. They kindly refuse and explain that they cannot leave my younger brother unattended as he has special needs, autism, but looks like any other regular dude, and there's a lot of people around. He says that my younger brother can be in the commercial as that's not a problem for him. They all happily agreed and do a few shots. Then the producer, a old lady, stops the shooting to talk to the director. She noticed my younger brother and did not want him in the commercial. The director guy tried to convince her that he was okay, but she refused and asked him to remove my brother from the scene. The director was so ashamed that he broke down in tears when explaining my parents that my brother could not be in the ad because the producer did not like his type. The director guy paid my parents, brother and younger brother $300 DLS each and apologized profusely, but they all left shortly after. The scene they were shooting didn't even make it into the final ad. I always wondered how they approached the kid who plays Chucky in Shameless US. Also in The West Wing they managed to get proper asshole looking actors to play the Republicans. I always wondered, did they just hire real ones? If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.